My fiance slept with his ex before our wedding day, thinking I'd never know. But what I did. My name is Sasha Wilson. I'm 28 years old, and until 3 months ago, I was planning what I thought would be the wedding of my dreams at Alki Beach in Seattle, with the perfect man by my side. I had the dress, a strapless lace A-line that made me feel like I was floating. I had the venue, a beachfront setup with the Olympic Mountains as our backdrop. I even had the perfect sunset timing for photos that would have made Instagram influencers weep with envy. What I didn't have, as it turned out, was a faithful groom. When people ask me now if I regret what I did, standing before 142 guests and refusing to say I do, I just smile and say, the only thing I regret is not seeing the signs sooner. But honestly, I don't even regret that anymore. Because sometimes the universe gives you exactly the wake-up call you need. Exactly when you need it, even if it arrives just days before you're about to legally bind yourself to someone who doesn't deserve you. Liam Crawford and I had been together for 3 years. He was charming, successful, and so attentive that my friends jokingly called him the unicorn. We met at a charity gala where he outbid everyone for a painting I'd donated. Later, he told me he didn't even like the art, he just wanted an excuse to talk to me. I fell hard and fast, like you do when you think you've found your person. The proposal was straight out of a romantic comedy: sunset dinner cruise on Puget Sound, string quartet, Liam down on one knee with a 2-carat emerald-cut diamond. "I want forever with you, Sasha," he'd said, his voice catching just slightly. "Say you'll be mine." I said yes before he even finished asking. That night, I called my mom crying happy tears, certain I'd won the lottery of life. Funny how it all starts to unravel from a single text message. It was exactly 8 days before the wedding when I first felt that twist in my gut, the one women are taught to ignore but should always, always listen to. Liam and I were having breakfast at our favorite cafe. His phone buzzed on the table between us, screen lighting up with a preview. "Linda, can't wait to see you tonight." Same spot. Linda, his ex-girlfriend, the one he'd dated for 5 years before me. The one he'd always insisted was ancient history. I looked up from the phone to find Liam staring at me, his expression shifting from relaxed to alert in milliseconds. He snatched the phone, turned it over, and flashed me that smile, the one that usually melted my concerns away. "Work stuff," he said casually, taking a bite of his avocado toast. "From Linda?" I asked, keeping my voice steady. "Oh, that." He waved dismissively. "She's going through a rough patch. Divorce proceedings. She just needs someone to talk to." I nodded slowly, the twist in my gut tightening. "And you didn't mention this because?" "Because it's nothing," he shrugged. "She's struggling. I'm helping an old friend. Didn't want to bother you with it when we've got so much wedding stuff going on." It made sense, technically. Liam had always been the guy people turned to in crisis. It was one of the things I loved about him, his willingness to help others. But something in his eyes didn't match his words. The flicker of something. Guilt? Fear? Whatever it was. It planted a seed of doubt that would grow faster than I could have imagined. That night, as we lay in bed, Liam's phone kept lighting up with notifications. He'd positioned it face down on the nightstand, something he'd never done before. When he fell asleep, I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering if I was being paranoid or if my intuition was trying to save me from making the biggest mistake of my life. I didn't sleep much that night, and the next morning, I made the first of many decisions that would eventually lead me to the altar, just not in the way everyone expected. The signs multiplied like rabbits after that first text. Liam started taking calls in the other room, his voice dropping to a whisper when I walked by. He'd come home late, claiming he was finalizing wedding details with his best man, Joe. He'd emerge from the shower with his phone still in his hand, as if he couldn't bear to leave it unattended for even 15 minutes. My bridesmaid, Macy, noticed it too. We were at my final dress fitting when she gently took my hand and said, "Sash, is everything okay with you and Liam?" I forced a smile. "Of course. Just pre-wedding stress." Macy gave me a look that said she wasn't buying it. "You know you can tell me anything, right?"
Loyalment.
That was when the dam broke. I told her about the text, the late nights, the secret of calls. As I spoke, the reality I'd been trying to ignore became undeniable. I think he's cheating on me, Mace, I whispered, tears threatening to ruin my makeup. With his ex. A week before our wedding. Macy's expression hardened. That absolute bastard. I shook my head, wiping away a stray tear. I don't know for sure. Maybe I'm being paranoid. Then let's find out, she said firmly. If he's innocent, great. If not, you deserve to know before you say, I do. That night, Liam told me he was meeting Joe to finalize the best man speech. He kissed me goodbye, promising to be back by 10. At 8:30, Macy texted me a photo that shattered whatever doubts I still had. Liam and Linda at Canlis, one of Seattle's most romantic restaurants. His hand was on her arm, their faces close, both laughing as if they didn't have a care in the world. As if he wasn't about to marry someone else in 6 days. I stared at that photo for what felt like hours, memorizing every detail, his navy blue suit, the one I'd helped him pick out for our engagement photos, her red dress, the intimate way they leaned toward each other. The twist in my gut was now a full-blown hurricane. When Liam came home at 11:45, not 10 o'clock. He smelled like expensive cologne and had a story ready about Joe getting emotional over his speech and needing extra time. I listened, nodding in all the right places, while internally I was screaming. How could he lie so effortlessly? How long had this been going on? And most importantly, what was I going to do about it? So the speech is all set? I asked, my voice surprisingly steady. Absolutely. Joe's really outdone himself. Liam grinned, loosening his tie. It's going to be perfect. I watched him move around our bedroom. This man I thought I knew, now a stranger with familiar features. That's great, I said, the words ashen in my mouth. I can't wait to hear it. That night, I made my second important decision. I wouldn't confront him yet. I needed more information, more evidence. And most importantly, I needed a plan. The next morning, I started documenting everything. I created a password-protected folder on my laptop labeled Wedding Backup, which wasn't entirely untrue. Inside, I saved Macy's photo, screenshots of Liam's odd text message patterns, and notes about his inconsistent stories. I wasn't proud of what I did next, but desperate times called for desperate measures. I checked our shared credit card statement. There it was, in black and white, a $325 charge at Canlis from the night before. The same night, he claimed to be with Joe at a casual bar downtown. I took a screenshot and added it to my folder. Then I called Joe, using the wedding favors as an excuse. Hey Joe, quick question about the favors. Liam mentioned you guys discussed them last night? Favors? Joe sounded confused.
No.
Haven't seen Liam since Sunday. Been swamped at work. Another piece of evidence. Another screenshot of the call log. Another addition to my folder. 5 days before the wedding. I woke up with a hollow feeling in my chest. While Liam showered, I scrolled through his recent calls, 3 to Linda in the past 24 hours. When he left for work, I called our wedding planner and asked what would happen if the wedding didn't proceed. She was startled but professional, explaining our options and the financial implications. I thanked her and added her email to my folder. 4 days before the wedding, Liam became suspiciously attentive. Extra kisses, surprise flowers, constant check-ins about how I was feeling. It was as if he sensed my withdrawal and was overcompensating. That night, his phone buzzed while he was brushing his teeth. Another message from Linda. Last night was amazing. We'll miss this when you're married. I took a photo with my own phone, hands shaking, then placed his phone exactly as I'd found it. In bed, he pulled me close, whispering how excited he was to call me his wife. I lay rigid in his arms, wondering who this person was and how I'd never seen through him before. 3 days before the wedding, I met with Macy at a coffee shop far from our usual haunts. I have enough, I told her, showing her my folder of evidence. The question is, what now? Macy's expression was a mix of sadness and determination. You know you can't marry him, right? I nodded, tears filling my eyes. But we have people flying in tomorrow. My parents have spent thousands. The venue is paid for, non-refundable. And you're worth more than all of that, Macy said firmly. This isn't about money, Sash. This is about the rest of your life. I know, I whispered. But how do I do this? Call everyone? Send a mass text? Sorry, wedding's off. Groom's a cheating bastard? Macy reached across the table and squeezed my hand. Whatever you decide, I'm with you. We all are, the people who truly love you. I sat there for a long time after she left, staring into my cold coffee, turning over options in my mind. I thought about confronting Liam privately, calling off the wedding quietly, minimizing the drama. It would be the sensible thing to do. But then my phone buzzed with a wedding update from my mom. Just landed. So excited for Saturday. Love you, sweetheart. And something inside me shifted. This wasn't just about Liam and me anymore. This was about truth, about respect, about standing up for myself in front of everyone who mattered. Why should I be the one to slink away quietly while he played the disappointed groom? Why should I protect his reputation when he'd so carelessly disregarded my heart? 2 days before the wedding, my resolve hardened. I met with the officiant, Pastor Mike, an old family friend who'd known me since childhood. I told him everything, showed him my evidence, and shared my plan. His eyes widened at first, then softened with understanding. Are you sure about this, Sasha? He asked gently. It's quite unconventional. I'm sure, I said, my voice stronger than it had been in days. I need to do this my way. He nodded slowly. Then I'll support you. Just be prepared for the reactions. Not everyone will understand. I don't need everyone to understand, I replied. I just need to be true to myself. One day before the wedding, I went through the motions of the rehearsal dinner with a strange sense of calm. I smiled, thanked people for coming, sat beside Liam as he charmed our families with stories of our time together. When he raised a toast to my beautiful bride, the love of my life, I clinked glasses and took a sip, meeting his eyes directly for the first time in days. For a moment, I saw uncertainty cross his face, a flicker of awareness that something wasn't right. But he covered it quickly, squeezing my hand under the table. I let him, knowing it would be the last time. That night, I stayed at my parents' house, as was tradition. My mom helped me pack my overnight bag, chattering excitedly about hair appointments and photo schedules. Are you okay, honey? She asked suddenly, pausing with my makeup bag in her hands. You seem distant. I smiled. The most genuine smile I'd managed in days.
I'm fine, Mom.
Just processing it all. Tomorrow's going to be quite a day. The most beautiful day, she corrected, hugging me tight. I'm so proud of you, sweetheart. Liam is a lucky man. I hugged her back, thinking no, Mom. Liam is about to be a very unlucky man. The morning of my wedding day dawned clear and bright, the Seattle skyline crisp against a rare cloudless sky. As predicted, perfect sunset photo conditions were on the horizon. I sat at the vanity in the bridal suite, watching as the makeup artist worked her magic, transforming me into the picture-perfect bride everyone expected. Macy sat nearby, our eyes meeting occasionally in the mirror, a silent understanding passing between us. She'd been my rock through all of this, and today would be no exception. Your skin is glowing, the makeup artist gushed. Pre-wedding bliss looks good on you. I smiled enigmatically. It's amazing what clarity can do for your complexion. My phone buzzed with a text from Liam. Can't wait to see you walk down the aisle. You've made me the happiest man alive. I set the phone down without replying. In a few hours, he'd understand exactly how I felt about his happiness. As the ceremony time approached, the bridal suite filled with activity, bridesmaids adjusting each other's dresses, my mother dabbing at her eyes, the photographer capturing candid moments that were anything but. Through it all, I remained calm, centered, certain. When it was time, I stood before the doors to the ceremony space. My father beside me, the processional music beginning its familiar notes. My heart pounded not with nerves, but with righteous determination. "Ready, princess?" my father asked, offering his arm. I took it, squeezing gently. "More than you know, Dad." The doors opened, revealing the scene I'd planned for months. White chairs adorned with sea blue ribbons, and aisles sprinkled with rose petals. And at the end, an arch twined with flowers, the ocean and mountains creating a postcard-perfect backdrop. Our guests rose, turning to watch my entrance, faces smiling with anticipation. And there was Liam, standing tall in his custom suit, hair perfectly styled, that practiced smile on his face. The smile that had once made my heart race, but now only confirmed what I already knew. It was all a performance. I began my walk, matching my steps to the music's tempo, my eyes locked on Liam's. With each step, I felt stronger, more certain. This wasn't the walk I'd imagined, but it was the one I needed to take. When I reached the altar, my father placed my hand in Liam's, kissed my cheek, and stepped back. Liam squeezed my fingers, mouthing, "You're beautiful," as we turned to face Pastor Mike. The ceremony began as planned. Pastor Mike welcomed everyone, spoke about love and commitment, shared anecdotes about Liam and me that made the guests chuckle appreciatively. Then came the moment I'd been waiting for. "Before we proceed to the vows," Pastor Mike said, "following our revised script, Sasha has asked to say a few words." A murmur of surprise rippled through the audience. This wasn't on the program. Liam glanced at me, confusion evident in his eyes. I took a deep breath and turned to face our guests, still holding Liam's hand, not out of affection, but to ensure he couldn't walk away from what was coming. "Thank you all for being here today," I began, my voice clear and steady. "It means the world to see so many people who love and support us. That's why I feel you deserve the truth." Liam's hand tensed in mine. I continued without looking at him. A wedding should be built on honesty, trust, and mutual respect. Unfortunately, I've recently discovered that these foundations are missing for my relationship with Liam. The crowd went completely silent. I could feel Liam's growing panic beside me, his hand now trying to pull away from mine. I held firm. 8 days ago, I discovered that Liam has been secretly meeting with his ex-girlfriend, Linda. Not for friendly catch-ups or divorce advice as he claimed, but for intimate dinners and... I paused, swallowing hard. Other intimacies that a groom-to-be shouldn't be sharing with anyone but his fiancée. Gasps and whispers erupted. From the corner of my eye, I saw Liam's mother cover her mouth, his father's face reddening with either embarrassment or anger. I couldn't tell which. "I have evidence," I continued, nodding to Macy, who stood and held up her phone, displaying the damning photo for anyone close enough to see. "And I've spent the past week confirming what my heart already knew. The man I thought I was marrying isn't the man standing beside me today." Liam finally found his voice, dropping my hand as if it burned. "Sasha, what the hell? This is insane." "Is it?" I turned to him fully now, meeting his panicked eyes. "Is it insane to expect fidelity from my fiancé? Is it insane to want honesty? Or is it insane to stand here in this dress, pretending I don't know you were with Linda at Camless 2 nights ago, while telling me you were with Joe?" His face paled as he realized I knew specifics. Details he couldn't deny. He stammered, looking frantically between me and the crowd. "This is a misunderstanding. Linda and I are just friends." "Stop," I said, not loudly, but with such firm conviction that he actually did. "I've seen the texts, Liam. I've talked to Joe, who confirmed you haven't seen him in days despite what you told me. I have the receipts, literally, from your credit card statements." I turned back to our stunned audience. "I stand before you today not to say I do, but to say I deserve better." My voice cracked slightly, the first sign of emotion breaking through my composed exterior. I deserve someone who doesn't lie to my face. I deserve someone who doesn't betray my trust days before promising to honor it forever. Liam's expression shifted from panic to anger. "You're doing this here?
Now?
In front of everyone? You could have talked to me privately. Like you privately discussed our relationship with Linda?" I countered, raising an eyebrow. Or like you privately decided to make a fool of me right before our wedding.
No, Liam.
Private discussions were an option before you chose to lie to me repeatedly. Someone in the back, possibly Liam's college friend, let out a low whistle. My mother was openly crying now, my father beside her with an expression of stunned disbelief. I softened my tone, suddenly aware of how quiet it had become, how every word carried across the ceremony's space. I'm not doing this for revenge or to humiliate you, though you deserve both. I'm doing this because I respect myself too much to begin a marriage with someone who doesn't respect me. I took a step back, creating physical distance between us. I'm not getting married today. Not to you. Not to someone who could look me in the eye every day this week and lie without hesitation. Liam's face contorted with a mix of emotions, anger, embarrassment, and finally, desperation. Sasha, please. He reached for my hand. I made a mistake. Let's talk about this privately. I love you. I stepped further back, shaking my head.
No, Liam. You don't love me.
You love the idea of me, the convenience of me, but not me. If you loved me, you wouldn't have been with her. It's that simple. Then, looking directly into his eyes, I delivered the line I'd rehearsed in my mind countless times over the past days. You don't deserve me. And I deserve so much more than you. With that, I turned and walked back down the aisle alone, head high, ignoring the shocked murmurs that followed me. As I reached the doors, I heard commotion behind me, Liam calling my name, Pastor Mike trying to maintain order, guests standing in confusion. I didn't look back. Instead, I stepped through the doors where Macy was waiting, car keys in hand. Ready? She asked, her eyes shining with a mixture of pride and concern. I nodded, feeling lighter than I had in weeks. Absolutely. As we drove away from what should have been my wedding reception, the sun began its descent toward the horizon, perfect lighting for photos that would never be taken, of a marriage that would never begin. And for the first time since seeing that text 8 days ago, I smiled a real, genuine smile. Because sometimes the bravest thing you can do isn't saying, I do, it's walking away when you know you should. The aftermath was exactly what you'd expect. Chaos, rumors, and more phone calls than I knew what to do with. My phone exploded with messages, some supportive, others demanding explanations. And a few, mostly from Liam's side, accusing me of creating an unnecessary spectacle. My parents were stunned, but rallied quickly. Why didn't you tell us? My mother asked that evening, sitting beside me in their living room where I'd taken temporary refuge. I needed to be sure, I explained, scrolling through my evidence folder. And I didn't want to put you in an awkward position. My father, usually so measured, was incensed. I would have knocked his teeth out if I'd known, he muttered, pacing the room. Which is exactly why I didn't tell you, I said, attempting a smile. Meanwhile, Liam was in full damage control mode. Within hours, he was calling and texting relentlessly. This is a huge misunderstanding. Linda means nothing to me. Please just talk to me. You've humiliated me in front of everyone we know. That last one made me laugh out loud. I had humiliated him? The audacity was almost impressive. I didn't respond to any of his messages. But I didn't block him either. Each desperate text only confirmed I'd made the right decision. Liam's family was less restrained. His mother called me vindictive and attention-seeking in a scathing voicemail. His sister sent a text suggesting I needed psychiatric help for my paranoid delusions. I saved these messages too, not out of spite, but as reminders of the bullet I'd dodged. But the most revealing reaction came from Linda herself. 3 days after the non-wedding, she sent me a message request on Instagram. I didn't know he was still going through with the wedding. He told me you two were over and just keeping up appearances for family reasons. I'm sorry. I stared at those words for a long time, pieces clicking into place. Liam hadn't just betrayed me, he'd been playing both of us, spinning different versions of reality to suit his needs. I sent her a brief reply, thank you for telling me, along with screenshots of Liam's recent, I love you text to me. She responded with a broken heart emoji and blocked Liam immediately. Macy, true to her nature, became my fiercest defender. When rumors started circulating that I'd freaked out or gotten cold feet, she strategically shared the canless photo with key mutual friends. The truth spread faster than Liam's attempts to rewrite it. A week after the non-wedding, Liam showed up at my apartment unannounced, a bouquet of my favorite peonies in hand. I watched through the peephole as he shifted nervously in the hallway, rehearsing what looked like an apology. For a fleeting moment, I considered not answering, but this needed to be faced head-on. I opened the door, but didn't invite him in. "Sasha," he said, relief washing over his face. "Thank you for seeing me." "I'm not seeing you," I clarified. "I'm ending this conversation before it begins." He held out the flowers. "Please, just hear me out. What happened with Linda, it was a mistake. Pre-wedding jitters. It didn't mean anything." I didn't take the bouquet. "If it didn't mean anything, that's actually worse. You were willing to throw away our relationship for something meaningless." He faltered, lowering the flowers. "That's not what I meant. I got scared. Commitment issues. But I've learned my lesson. I'll go to therapy, do whatever it takes." "Liam," I said calmly, "this isn't about therapy or second chances. This is about character. When faced with doubt, you chose deception over honesty. That's who you are at your core." "People change," he insisted. "They do." I agreed. "But not because they got caught. Change happens when someone recognizes their behavior is wrong before it costs them everything." His expression hardened slightly. "So that's it? 3 years thrown away because of one mistake." "No," I corrected him. 3 years of lessons learned because of many choices you made. The secret meetings weren't accidents. The lies weren't slips of the tongue. You deliberately deceived me, repeatedly, right up to our wedding day." I took a deep breath, softening my tone. "I don't hate you, Liam. I'm not even angry anymore. I'm just done. Love without trust is meaningless, and you've shown me I can't trust you." He stared at me for a long moment, something like respect reluctantly crossing his features. "I really did love you, you know." "Maybe," I acknowledged, "but not enough to be honest with me. Not enough to be faithful. And that's not the kind of love I want anymore." As he turned to leave, flowers hanging limply at his side, I called after him. "I hope you figure out what you really want, Liam. And I hope whoever comes next gets a better version of you than I did." The door closed between us with a quiet finality. 3 months have passed since the wedding that wasn't. It's amazing how life recalibrates after what feels like an earthquake. I moved out of our shared apartment into a cozy place overlooking Lake Union. I threw myself into work, earned the promotion I'd been hesitant to pursue while planning a wedding, and even started taking sailing lessons, something I'd always wanted to try but Liam had dismissed as impractical. The questions have mostly stopped. People no longer tiptoe around me like I'm fragile. And I've stopped receiving pity invitations to brunches with well-meaning friends who just want all the juicy details. Liam, I hear, has become somewhat of a social pariah. Not because I campaigned against him, but because the truth has a way of revealing character. Even Joe, his supposed best friend, has distanced himself. Last I heard, Liam moved to Portland for a fresh start. Linda, according to mutual connections, ghosted him completely after our Instagram exchange. Sometimes I wonder if I could have handled things differently, confronted him privately, walked away quietly, spared everyone the public drama. But then I remember how skillfully he lied, how convincingly he played the devoted fiancé while betraying me behind my back. A private confrontation would have given him room to manipulate the narrative, to paint me as the villain in his story. Instead, I chose to write my own ending, not out of malice or revenge, but out of self-respect and a determination to begin this new chapter of my life with honesty, even when that honesty was uncomfortable. My mother asked me recently if I regret making a scene at what should have been my wedding. No, I told her truthfully. I regret trusting someone who didn't deserve it. I regret ignoring my intuition when it first warned me something was wrong. But I don't regret standing up for myself when it mattered most. She nodded, understanding filling her eyes. You know, for what it's worth, I've never been prouder of you than I was in that moment. It takes incredible strength to walk away from something you've invested so much in. That's the thing about making difficult choices. They reveal parts of yourself you never knew existed. I discovered I'm stronger than I thought, braver than I believed, and far more resilient than Liam ever gave me credit for. People still ask if I'm back out there dating again. I laugh and tell them I'm dating myself first, rediscovering who Sasha Wilson is when she's not trying to be someone's fiance or wife. And it turns out I really like her company. The other day, I was sailing on Lake Union, the wind catching my hair, the Seattle skyline gleaming in the distance. For a moment, I thought about how this scene, me, alone on a boat, navigating my own course, would have been unimaginable to the woman who walked down that aisle 3 months ago, heart pounding with determination and fear. That woman was brave, yes. But this woman, the one who chose herself, who refused to settle, who walked away from betrayal instead of tolerating it, she's not just brave. She's free. And as I adjusted the sail to catch a perfect gust of wind, I smiled at the realization that had been forming for weeks. Everything that happens to you is because of what you allow. I stopped allowing dishonesty in my life, and in doing so, I didn't just avoid a marriage built on lies. I reclaimed my power to determine what love will look like when it finally, truly arrives. Next time, I'll recognize it not by grandiose gestures or perfect proposals, but by something far more valuable: unwavering respect, complete honesty, and the kind of trust that doesn't leave you checking phone messages at 2 a.m. Sometimes the happiest ending isn't the one you planned. It's the one you have the courage to choose for yourself. Even when everyone is watching, even when it hurts, even when it means walking back down the aisle alone. But take it from me, alone doesn't mean lonely. Sometimes, it just means you're making room for something better to find you.